welcome to another fantastic Wisdom Circle. I'm so excited to be able to be part of this Wisdom Circle or to listen into the background. Of course, my name is Sophia from Sacred You, and we have the honor of being able to host and present these Wisdom Circles. And today we have the very, very special Anne Irwin, who's coming back again with these wonderful women to have an incredible discussion about returning to self. I love this, Jo. Thank you so much for bringing this. So it's returning to self, reclaiming yourself and your inner wisdom. Last month's conversation was incredible, and I'm really looking forward to this one. So I'm now going to hand it over to you, and I will be back at the end. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Sophia, for being the wonderful, I guess, well, it's hosting all of the Sacred You things that we are able to come together and connect and be authentic and talk about the things that not normally get talked about in the real world. So thank you for being that platform. And returning to self, reclaiming the self and your inner wisdom. And it's such a big topic, isn't it? So we could, this is why we host it every single month. So anyone out there that wants to join us, please come and be in the space. But let's just start with landing together, because I know for me, and perfect conversation to have today, it's only 8 a.m. here and I've already felt like I've done a day. I'm minding some goats and some geese and so I'm being a farmer at the moment as well. And so we've, and as you know, farmers get up very early, but let's just land together. And because the days do get busy, we all have full lives, we have full hearts. And let's just take a moment to just breathe and soften into the space together. So I invite everybody, if you're watching on the live, just take a few breaths together, close down your eyes, and just let's land in our bodies. Breathing in and breathing out. Just a couple of times to get fully present. Feeling grounded. Feeling present and just honoring yourself for this time that we have to share our wisdom, share our experiences, so that others can know that they're not alone, that we're traveling this together. One more big deep breath. Just landing in the space. Feeling centered, feeling connected, feeling heart. And when you're ready, open your eyes and let's do this. And good morning, beautiful ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today, and sharing, as I said, your wisdom and your experiences with the world. We are global, and isn't this wonderful that we can touch each other in this way? And I just want to acknowledge and recognize that your time is precious. And, it is so, so amazing that you can gift it this way. And unconditionally is the word that's coming, unconditionally. And it's just a beautiful place to all connect. And as we're moving through this period, I mean, this is the busiest period of the year, right? We've got towards the holidays. We've pulled in so many different directions. We've got family, we've got commitments, we've got expectations, we've got pressure, we've got emotions that come up that we didn't know that were there. And we're trying to hold it all together, right? Until we learn a different way. So today is about taking that pause and a chance to really come home to ourselves and, you know, perhaps decide it can be very different this year for you. And so that we don't get swept away. We can always come back to our center. And I think what we did just then, our breath, is one of the most powerful things that we can do. Just take that moment to just wash it all away and just come back to center. So I was thinking today's conversation could be all around, you know, this season we're going into. And, you know, how we can navigate that, because I know that all of you have most likely done it very well. And we might be able to give some people out there some great tips and ideas. I'm actually hosting a 21-day challenge in my group at the moment, which I go live for 5 minutes a day, just getting people back into their bodies, back into their soul, and be guided by that through this next part of our this next season, Christmas season. So we're all human, all right? We have our human parts as well. And I'd like to start with something very simple, which is when life gets really full, when life gets like, especially this time of year, what do you notice about yourself that you're not quite yourself anymore? How do you notice that? Maybe you get extra tired, overwhelmed, or you disconnect. You just have to, you know, retreat, or you get snappy. We all do it, right? So I wonder if you'd like to share a little bit about that process for you. What do you notice when things are getting a little bit too much? And maybe what do you do? So, Tywanah, please.
So yes, I noticed that I used to get snappy every Friday, and I don't know why. But what I started to do was take Fridays off for the most part. So with the
Yes.
exception of one client who is very special, I'm off.
You're off.
And that's how I handled it. And I'm not snappy anymore. And it's, as it turns out, I was building up resentment throughout the week because I often teach on the weekends as well. So the resentment was building, and I didn't have that time to return to me, to do the things that I love and enjoy, or to give my body the rest that it needs. So that's what I started doing.
Wow. I love that. I really do. And I know a lot of women don't have the luxury because they work like a 9 to 5 or something like that, but you can make time. And I was thinking about this. I had to drive to Brisbane yesterday, and I was thinking about this. It's like an hour and a half drive. I was thinking, yeah, but you just got to fit it in. Like, you just got to say, after work, I'm going to have a nice walk on the beach. It doesn't have to cost money, or the luxury of a massage, or you know, even a chat with a friend, right? To release all that what's building up. But having the luxury of having it, I did the same last Thursday. It's like, well, what do I want to do today? I had a client in the morning, and I just knew I needed to get to the beach. So I checked out for the day. What a luxury. I know but we've earned this, right? We pour our heart and our soul into the work we do in the world. So we can make those choices. So anyone listening that feels like they want to go out on their own. There's a lot of support here for that, right? Because we've done it, we've walked it, we can guide you and the next steps that you need to take. And a lot of it's also letting go, isn't it? Letting go of some things. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to pipe in with what comes up for them? Rollie.
So for me, it's about being able to recognize the signs and symptoms of being stressed. And so I do a lot. There's lots of things going on, and different times of the year, different times of my life. There's like sometimes more than we can expect. And it's being able to recognize that I'm being pulled in too many directions, and being able to first recognize what do I need to keep on my plate, and second, the things that I do feel that I need to keep on my plate, how do I navigate them? But being able to just taking that time and recognizing, but it's sometimes hard when we're in the thick of everything, and just being able to just slow things down and figure out, okay, where are things at? What is it that's going on? Am I eating properly? Am I drinking properly? So am I getting enough physical exercise? We've moved into winter, so exercise is not necessarily that's top of mind for me. And so because it's cold and it's not so warm, and so just being able to recognize what do I need to do to be able to get myself back into the swing of things. And you talked about like the busy season, being able to say no to certain things. So like if you've got something that somebody's like, oh, well, do you want to come and have this celebration and participate in whatever it is? If it's not a full-fledged yes, then say no. And being able to recognize that, so that you don't have to be pulled in 1,000 directions. And especially for those who are watching that have little ones, and you do tend to be pulled into, but the ones that do not fill your soul, then it's okay for you to say no, not right now, or not today, or let me think about that. And let me figure out whether or not I can navigate that. And I think that was probably one of my biggest lessons, is being able to say, let me think about that. Because it was like my automatic response was like, oh yes, my people pleaser in me needed to say like, yes, 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 of course I'll do. And so being able to say when it's something that I'm not quite sure and I don't have that full-fledged yes, then it's let me think about it. But before I got to that stage, everything was let me think about it. So initially when I was trying to learn to say that no, it was always let me think about it, so that I can have time without pressure to figure out, is it a yes or is it a no? And I can't do that right now. So yeah, so anybody who's listening.
I love that. Learning, it's a learning. Everything's a learning, right? We've got to learn these things because we're entrained to be automatic, default. And learning to go, well, let me think about that. What a great way to just, gently relearn how to say no, but also tune in, because that's another learning, isn't it? Ladies, I apologize. I forgot to introduce you. So why don't, Rollie, while you're at it, can you please introduce yourself, and then we'll just quickly go back to Tywanah. Sorry. I got so excited about the topic.
And none of us really paid attention or noticed, right? So we just kind of went with the conversation. So I'm Gigadomi Gunkwe, which means talking feather woman. I'm also known as Rollie Allaire. I'm from a small community in northeastern Ontario. Like I said, it's like snowing and cold up here. And I work with women who have anxiety to help them learn how to be able to navigate using the regular cycles, which I refer to as moon medicine, bringing in many holistic tools into that practice.
Beautiful, beautiful work you do in the world. And you've got an incredible chart that we can follow too. I had that, you gifted that to us. So if anyone wants that, I'm sure Rollie will be able to share it with you. Tywanah, apologies. Please introduce yourself.
We don't apologize.
No problem, no problem.
I'm not sorry, but I'm apologizing.
It's okay. No need to apologize. It's all good.
Also, no, Thunderbird Rising. I am a high priestess, a shaman, a spiritual guide, published author, and inspirational speaker. I help women heal their trauma, find their purpose, and step unapologetically into their power.
Woo, I love it. Love it. Thank you. Beautiful work you're doing as well. Gorgeous work. And I've been part of Tywanah's circles and summits, and they are incredible. Incredible. And a magazine. A magazine. Must check that out, everybody. So okay, Dilyana, did you want to introduce yourself, and then maybe we'll go into the question or your inspiration to share?
I'm Dilyana Mileva. I'm a menopause and sleep expert, a corporate wellness specialist. I'm a founder of Menopause Support Academy and also a host of Menopause Made Easy podcast. My work is to help midwife women return to their body, regulate their nervous system, and reclaim their inner wisdom that gets burned sometimes under the stress, hormones, and wife responsibility. And for me, returning to self isn't just poetic idea. It's a powerful physiological, emotional awakening. So, so nice to be here and to meet all of you.
Beautiful. Where are you tuning in from?
Based in Canada, in Vancouver.
Welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Or if you see my accent, I'm not Canadian. I'm not
No.
North American. I'm originally from Bulgaria.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for being here. Did you want to expand on how you navigate or how you know? I know Rollie mentioned, I think the important piece is recognizing when we're getting to that point and being aware. Would you like to expand on your
Yeah, it's my
experience?
pleasure to share my thoughts. For many women, especially in midwife, returning to self means like stripping away the roles we've been performed for decades, like mother, partner, caretaker, achiever, and reconnecting with the woman underneath it all. It's about coming back to your needs, your intuition, your body, your inner leadership. It's remembering who you are, and when you are busy being everything for everybody. So for me, this is period that many women become disconnected, and why they're disconnected because of these psychological changes and also wife world. A woman carries so much individual emotional labor, fixing, supporting, holding. So holding all together. So it's sometimes become overwhelming. Also cultural conditioning. We are taught to be strong, polite, productive, self-sacrificing over the time but you need also our time to recharge, our time to connect with ourselves, with our souls, with our body, to connect with our inner wisdom. You need this me time to just breathe, just to become more grounded and just to pamper yourself, nurturing yourself, take care about ourselves. Just this me time to self-healing and also self-care is so important.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And was there ever a time where you felt like you were really longing to return to that home, to you at home, like your home internally?
My
Was
home.
like
Yeah.
what the work you're doing in the world, what led you up to doing that work? Was there a time where you felt
It was my own experience because entering in my early 40s, I already was exhausted and tired. And I didn't understood why with all my knowledge of health and wellness, why I'm constantly tired, I cannot sleep.
Yeah.
And sometimes bursting in tears, sometimes laughing, like this emotional roller coaster, a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to my body. I just pushed myself through the day. And like in the morning, I'm tired. In the afternoon, I want to go back to bed. But in the evening, I'm tired and wired. And I cannot sleep. at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't know why I am with my eyes open, I cannot sleep. And that's very vicious circles repeat day after day. And I come to burnout and overwhelmed, and I went to see the doctor and explained the situation. They told me that probably I work too much, I need vacation, or I need the sleeping pills or antidepressant. They didn't know that it's connected with the woman's change on the body with the hormonal changes. So they thought, oh, I'm too young to become a menopausal, or they didn't discuss even premenopausal years and whatever. So I knew that it's not the solution, and I started doing research. Actually, the breath work helped me a lot. It saved my wife. I mean, helped me to connect with my higher self and to become more grounded and more balanced. And then I started exploring more different techniques. And then what I found is that's just with small tweaks in your lifestyle and your connected with your body, listen to your body when the body need to rest and not to push too much.
Amazing.
That's why I create all this, and that's come to this work.
Incredible, isn't it? Our stories are so powerful. Thank you for sharing that, because so many women have experienced it, right? We've all been there in that well, I know I have. I'm speaking for myself right now, that menopausal stage, yep. And it's so important to understand that there's ways to navigate it. So thank you for doing that work in the world. It's just beautiful, beautiful. And recognizing those signs and symptoms. Yeah, I remember the 2 a.m. awake. Luckily, I was already on my path, and I just went up and had a cup of tea and meditated. So, there's ways to benefit, isn't there, from
just there's so many holistic way
yes,
to take a look on that.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Maria and Denise, please, one of you open your mics and share who you are, where you're from. So lovely to see your faces.
Thank you. Yes, so beautiful to be here with you all. My name's Denise, and I support and help people to self-heal through all the tools that I have gained and learned along my journey, which is so important because we're all so very different. So we all have our own magic, I'd like to say, on how to help everybody, because everybody's different, which is so beautiful. And who comes to me and comes to you, they might not work at the time for me or them. So there's somebody out there that is right to support whoever needs it. And I love working myself out of their life in a sense, because then I know they've got everything to navigate their own life and their family's life and their grandchildren. And it becomes a, what do we call it? Ancestral movement.
Yes, I love that.
Forward and backwards as well. So that's what I'm really truly about. And I use on mental, emotional, physical, and I use a lot of herbs as well. I love growing natural herbs. So I have a whole backyard developing in natural herbs that will serve the body and nervous system and everything like that. So I enjoy, because I love getting out in the earth.
In the garden.
So that's
beautiful. Powerful healing in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they're living organisms that are here to support us.
100%. And breaking that generational cycles.
Yes.
The angels are singing right now.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's my joy place. So absolutely. And talking about navigating through my, becoming aware of ourselves, to me, I've always lived under the expectation of what I've grown up with. And which develops the anxiety, which develop and I look at myself, you look at your feminine, your masculine and your neutral, we play in all of those fields. So and I found myself, as I learned when I got so much older in my 40s, that I play in them and I get anxious in all of them. So I'm not using my feminine, I become over nurturing, which becomes overbearing.
Yes.
Or I become, heavy masculine, which is controlling, and then, the neutral, which I found is extremely hiding because I'm not finding myself. So it was becoming aware of those sides of myself and finding the balance in all of them, because we need feminine, masculine, neutral. We need to live in I call it the adult side of it, because when we're in the anxiety of it, we're playing in the child side of things, in our grown-up expectations. So for me, it was a lot of, because I'm a real earthy, getting in the earth, getting by the sea, just really sitting and taking the time, or else I just became over anxious and get lost in everything and giving everything away instead of giving things to myself. So that was a huge learning. And, when I say about that, if I was feeling overwhelmed at times, I try to control everything. So that's what we go to. Or I'm anxiety, I've got to hide.
Yes.
Or I'm just going to help everyone because that'll make me feel better. Instead of coming home and going and sitting with myself, and I do a lot of sitting and in the garden and going, okay, or nurturing the garden and going, okay, what's my need for me today? Like Tywanah said, Fridays, her need was to not work. But what is my need? It might be a stroll outside of the office for 10 minutes can change your whole day.
Yes.
Or it might be taking the kids to park so they can play and you can sit and enjoy that moment. It's looking for those spaces in the chaos, I suppose, that nurtures you as well as everybody else.
Yeah, I love that.
But it's really coming back and finding that balance within yourself. And I sought it. I kept seeking it outside of myself, which was great. But there was still that part that, okay, I've got to take that and make myself, I call it responsibility, which might be a harsh word to a lot of people, but it's actually a really beautiful word, to take responsibility of my heart, my needs, my wants. And when I do that, I allow everybody else to take responsibility of their needs, their wants, their heart. So, yeah.
Not harsh at all, Denise. I call it radical responsibility.
Yes.
Okay. That can seem harsh, but it is your life. It's your heart.
Well, I'm the one who's living this. All the beautiful souls around me are part of this. So how am I showing up for myself so they can show up for themselves?
Yeah. And that comes back to breaking the cycle too, doesn't it? What you're demonstrating to them.
Yeah. I love yourself unconditionally. And, it hurts. It hurts at times to do it. Loving yourself unconditionally, holding yourself. Because when you're holding yourself, you're holding everything else as well, without even trying.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And hearing that, it's learning how to be present, how to come home to presence and knowing. And sometimes it might disappoint people, but, that's their journey.
Yeah.
That's their learnings.
Yeah.
And we can't be
and loving them
responsible
for that.
Yeah, and loving them for that. We can't.
Absolutely. Because I don't have to be like anybody else.
No, that's right.
That's my superpower. I don't have to be like anybody else.
That's right. I am unique. I am unique. Thank you so much, Denise. That was gorgeous. And so much in that. So much in there. Lots to ponder, everybody. Coming home to self. And I'd love to now invite beautiful Maria to join us and share who you are, where you're from, and also your experience on this topic.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Joy, for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Beautiful girls, all grown up. and taking radical responsibility, and I am one of them. So my name is Maria, and I am pivoting. So this theme today is just so beautiful for my own introduction because I had pivoted. So I had just become a proud founder of your true identity, creativity, and your voice. And it wasn't always like that. I didn't always have voice, and I was very creative ever since I remember myself, but I did put that aside, like aside behind me for about 10 years. And life got busy. So I was homeschooling, I was taking care of my elderly in-laws and running to households and going out at night and working when nobody needed me. So life really, really got busy, and I fallen into hips. So my return in apart from the business was truly returning to God, or even better said, starting walking out my walk with Him. Because I found myself like being forever walking on the road of Damascus. And for you who don't know, there's a story from the Bible when Jesus was crucified and he was already risen, but the followers did not know that. So they went to the city where it was a city of mourning, where they were safe to just be and to mourn. And Jesus had joined them, a risen Jesus, on their walk, and they did not recognize him. They have been talking to him all the way, and it was nighttime falling, and they invited him to stay with them in as a stranger because it's too dangerous for him to continue the walk through the night. And only after they broke the bread did they recognize that it was Jesus. So when Jesus left, at once they picked up everything and they went back to Jerusalem to proclaim the good news, no fear, and they were not mourning anymore. So that was my return also, because I used to observe Sabbath as one day of rest. And that was my coming back to myself, coming back to family, coming back to worship and praise. But because life was so busy, I just couldn't do any of those things. I had to go out and work. I have to take care of mom and going to the nursing home and feeding my in-law. And then finally, I realized that if I only go to church, our home church, maybe for a few hours, breaking bread for me has done that rest. Because I recognize that breaking bread with somebody, sharing our stories together, sharing our faith, encouraging each other, uplifting each other, edifying each other, was the connection that I missed so much. So with the trauma, with life, with busyness, with us just running in a circles, doing everything for everybody, as beautiful Rollie said, like learning to say not now, maybe later, is still hard for me, but I say now, I get to. I get to help you. I get to call you. I get to do this for you. I get to invite you. I get to take you. If you need a lift, I get to help you out in your household. I get to look after your children. So the life for me in that matter is busy and beautiful at the same time because I get to do things. So yeah, just to wrap it up, the true identity is about returning to our core, as you would say. For me, is returning to Jesus. Crafting and art comes through expressing ourselves where we fall short of being able to say it, and even more than that, maybe just stay quiet and not give enemy the entry door to have hold of our trauma and our sadness. And then with speaking is voicing and bringing into the existence that what we want and is not yet, which is our fate. So thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you, Maria. That is beautiful. Sacred ritual came to mind. Sacred ritual and breaking bread together, and go back to the the way it used to be. The circles, the women's circles, the fire, the conversations and the singing and the dancing, it just all came to me. But identity is a very, for me, it's been a huge piece of the puzzle, and cutting those being who I wasn't in the real world because of our conditioning and the way we've been trained in being that way, and having to hide our true selves and be something that we're not in order to, number one, please others instead of pleasing the self. And having ways to strip away that identity and finding true self. What I'm hearing here is a theme of just finding those practices to bring you back home. And for me, it has always been having a consistent practice, even if it's just one. And this is the work I teach in the world as well. As many of you know, the work you do is very aligned with what I do in working with women to help them find who they are at their soul, who they came here to be, and to execute that and live that way unconditionally, authentically. So identity is a big piece, I feel. Does anyone else have anything to say? I think around identity is a really great leeway into our next part of this conversation. Denise?
Yeah, I'd love to. I feel truth of self comes into that. Like, we're so open when we're so little that we take everything as the truth, because we don't, and then we start sorting that as we grow. So, and some kids are really good that they can throw off what they don't want, and they'll keep what they become to know what their truth is, or they fight against it, whatever it is. But I think as we get older, we never lose that, and we tend to hang on to all those things that we've grabbed onto because we've thought that that's the truth, and then we don't know what the real truth is. We don't know what the truth of ourselves is because we've taken on that, oh, mummy says I was so good, so if I'm good, this is what I've got to do. This is what good looks like. This is what love looks like. This is what, unhappiness looks like. This is, so we've got all those expectations of
This is what punishment looks like.
Yes. So, so then we wear that as our suit, because that's all I know, without ever questioning ourselves. Well, what's truth to me? What does truth look like to me? What does love look like to me? Because I've just known love as either rough, I've known love as hurtful, and so therefore that's what love looks like to me. So that's what I invite into my life. That's what, hurt looks like for me. So I invite that into my life without ever realizing that that's what we're doing, because we haven't asked ourselves those questions. What does love really look like for me? Because I see it's beautiful over there, how they're doing it. Why don't I have that? So it's really coming back to really that awareness of self, that internal talk of what is those things, what do they really mean to me, where did that come from, who told me that, and that's never stop asking yourself, oh, I've taken this on, where did that come from? you know, so that's a real identity. Finding yourself is asking yourself, who am I?
Yeah.
Why am I? How am I? What do I love? What don't I like? And we take it back to, oh, I've learned this from somewhere. Is this really mine? Or
That's a
was that
yeah,
impacted on me?
taking on those beliefs.
Absolutely, of everybody else's. But is that
Yeah.
what I really believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that constant, you know, because we ask everybody else these questions.
Yes.
And we never come back to ourselves and ask ourselves those questions. So it's really turning that loving, caring, unconditional stuff that we give out to everybody else and bring that back in and ask and be unconditional with ourselves, you know, whether because it's going to be good, bad, and ugly, but then it becomes so magnificent for us to work through all of that and see all those sides of ourselves. You know, that's loving. That's our authenticity. That's loving ourselves, which brings out that authenticity of ourselves to know ourselves, our identity, our truth of ourselves.
Yes.
And where I go from there is just so magical.
100%. And there's so much in that, isn't it? Where it all comes from, where it all stems from. It's not really who we are, is it? It's
Yeah,
what
and it's not an
human-
upward rise. It's
No.
not this is going to be so great. It's
Yeah. Some of it's so deeply, deeply embedded that we don't even know.
absolutely. And we can sit with that. And I think that's the beautiful thing when you seeking for your identity, allow yourself to sit in the murkiness of it all. And that's the darkness of it all.
Yeah, 100%.
And love yourself in that time of darkness.
Yeah.
You know, because I've got to go through the dark to find the light of myself.
Yeah. Nothing's permanent.
No.
Beautiful.
Not at all.
Thanks, Denise. And I know there's some few grandmothers here.
Yes.
And I was a single mum of 4, so how I do my grandparenting now is 100% opposite to how I did my parenting back then. And so I'm changing that cycle whilst I'm in this, you know, this time, and it's absolutely beautiful. I just want to say, if you watch like a 2-year-old before it's all impressionable, right? Because I don't think that there's, you know, obviously there's some, but mostly they're just, inhibitions are just, there is none. They're doing their thing, right? And I had my 2 granddaughters here on the weekend, and I'm just watching like, whoa, you know, and the father's rolling his eyes, that my son's rolling his arm, like, just let them. Yeah. Let them. Like, they're expressing themselves. Yeah. And he's like, oh, God. I said, you go up and sit by the pool. I will. It's fine. We don't want to squash that.
That's right.
You know?
I heard a comment, and it was such a beautiful comment that says, if your children's doing something dangerously, carefully, let them continue. So if they're climbing something that feels dangerous to us, but they're doing it carefully, let them do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to stand there.
100%. I'd love to hear from Rollie now, if yeah, because I'm just conscious of our time. And thanks, Denise. We could talk about this all day, especially when it comes to grandchildren.
And we really can. And so like that's kind of like tying into what it is that I wanted to kind of go back to, something that Denise had said earlier when she was talking about connecting to the earth. And so I have a picture on my screensaver that is on my desktop, that is a picture of myself and my grandson from last summer, not this past summer, last summer, that him and I, somebody was able to capture this moment and unplanned, and we were in the garden, and he said, Nookum, because he calls me Nookum. So Nookum, we need to go in the garden. We need to go and be with the flowers. And so when Denise was talking about getting in and grounding, and I'm like, and it was like literally just before coming on, and it's like, but everything's covered in snow right now, buddy. We can't do that right now. But you're right. We definitely need to go and smell the flowers and be with the flowers. And so I just thought that that was a great reminder, and how in sync that was. And so, so when we're talking about identity, is that whole piece of being able to understand who we are when it's not everyone else's expectations. And so I know that for me, coming back to self was when I had lost that identity. And so I was struggling with my teenage son who was using drugs, and I was like trying to identify how to be able to manage that, and how can I be an addiction worker when my son was going through these struggles and these battles. And then my husband had an affair, and it was like struggling with like being able to identify with like that my spouse, but then I still had work. And then when I had lost my job, it was like there was my third piece of my identity. And then when I worked on healing and coming back to self, was being able to figure out that none of those identities, yes, those were all important to me and they were all important tasks to me, but they weren't who I was. And so being able to, in that 9 months where the doctor had said, you're not able to work, like you need to focus on yourself, is that in that last 3 months of that time frame, I was able to recognize that it's like, no, I really need to figure out who I am and what my identity is that is not related to everyone else, and how that connects. And
Wow.
so
What a
that was-
blessing, right? What a blessing to be told you're not to stop everything. I've been told that lately. Stop everything. I mean, that's scary, but it's necessary,
It
right?
really
As
was.
hard as it is, and I've been through a lot of the things you're talking about there, but it is scary. But just to stop and reassess and come home to you, work out, who am I? What do I want? What do I need? And follow that thread. Beautiful. Like, and a lot of people wouldn't go there because, no, I've got to keep working, right? But it's necessary to just reassess.
And I probably would have continued, right?
Yeah.
I probably would have continued had the doctor not have said like, yeah, that's not happening.
No, good
right?
on you.
So,
yeah. So sometimes and the body will keep the score in the end.
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely.
So Tywanah or Dilyana Maria, who wants to jump in with identity and experiences around that, or even a simple practice that we can actually give to the women watching? Yep. Go, Maria.
Oh, sorry.
Or whoever. No, go, Tywanah. Sorry, whoever. I just saw you both open your things. Yep.
Okay. So briefly, for me, identity was, as Rollie said, it's just coming back and thinking, what do I really need? And what I needed is to know exactly, not even who I am. I know who I am. So I'm like, oh, I know who I am, but where do I go from here? So when life serves you all these things, and every day, like we are somebody else. So I have this saying to my husband, when we speak, like, I don't know this version of you. I want to know how to love this version of you, because you came home from work and you are a different person, because you had, as a bus driver, you have interacted with so many people, and life and people and surroundings do have the influence on us. So I just say, I haven't loved this version of you before.
Yeah, I
So
love
for
that.
me, yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. And it's because we're all energetic beings, and we're affecting each of us is affecting each of us all the time. But being in that environment, I experienced it yesterday. Just had to come home and just, whoo, right?
Yeah, so every minute we are somebody else, and I just needed to know exactly where do I go from here. And then the Lord had revealed to me, hey, enough of being a beggar, grow up. So we are all children who are all grown-ups and radically responsible. So yeah, the Lord had spoken to me really quietly in a still voice. You are not the beggar, you are God's daughter. You are King's daughter. So in my prayer now, I command, I don't beg. So
Woo, powerful.
our battle is not against flesh and blood, against people's behaviors, and not against people. It is about the darker forces. So Yeah, and
Gorgeous.
that comes to the breaking the bread and really knowing the people
Yes.
and loving them.
And some people find that voice and that they find God through other sources as well that speak to them, and higher self, angels, ancestors, guides, and there's so many ways, isn't there, that God speaks to us. So that is beautiful, Maria. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll jump over to Tywanah, if that's okay.
Absolutely. I too relate to what Rollie was saying about, just that need to stop, just stop. I recently moved across the country, less than a month ago. On the 11th of November, I moved across the country, and my ancestors have been radio silent until today. And it was because they wanted me to stop. And for me, it's like, wait, what did you just, huh? Why? But why? I'm okay. But they wanted me, of course, they know more than I do, right? God, the ancestors, the universe, the divine, whatever you want to put it, the angels, they know much more than we do. I crashed Thanksgiving night.
Oh.
Kept saying, I feel flu-like I was lethargic. Even yesterday, I was kind of like this, slumped over in the outside glider, drinking my tea, and it was like, oh, okay. This is why they wanted me to stop. This is why they stopped giving me ideas to brainstorm and things. And even today, only 2 little ideas trickled through. But sometimes, like Rollie said, we just do have to stop. And like you said, Joe, that's scary as all get out. Because it's like, if I stop, who's paying these things? You guys are on the other side. The paper that are coming in the mail. And but the whole point about returning to self is that pause. In order to return to ourselves, we have to pause and look at ourselves. A lot of us have been operating in masculine energy. We've got to return to the divine feminine, because we're so accustomed to doing everything alone. I, like you, Joe, even though I have 3 children naturally, I raised 4 daughters alone. So, when as you know, when you get accustomed to doing everything
Survival.
alone, exactly, you're like, stop. What do you stop? What are you talking about over there? So yeah, it's we have to take the sacred pause to come back home,
Yeah.
because we can't hear them tell us what our next step is, or how to return to self, how to stop people pleasing, how to stop wearing a mask, how to stop, just doing things for the sake of doing things, how to say no. And that's it.
Yeah.
So yes,
a lot of trust,
Exactly.
in that, like surrender, trust, and you know what? When you do
Yes.
that and have faith, when you do that, magic happens. I'm telling you, magic happens.
It
You know,
does.
it's incredible. So take it from this wise woman here, girls, or these wise women here, ladies. Like it's imperative, right? And God will show the way. It will land with whatever it is you're asking for. In that process of stopping, ask, what are my next steps? What do I need to do? And do only that. But yeah, I've got to move on to Dilyana. So Please, thank you, Tywanah. I know we've only got 5 minutes, but please spend your
Yeah, just to finish, I'm not gonna take a lot of time. It's just to not doing more, just to listen more our needs. And every woman carry a deep wisdom within. So the path forward is not about doing more, but remembering actually who you are and what's your mission and what you need to do in this earth. And when you return to yourself, you become unstoppable.
Yes. Yes. Returning to yourself to become unstoppable. Love that. Thank you, Dilyana. That's absolutely gorgeous. And I want to honor all of you for being here. We still have a few minutes if you wanted to say anything more. Anyone want a last wise 1 minute tip for anybody out there in this busy, silly season coming up, right? Into December. How can you come back home to yourself?
Say no.
Pay that, sorry?
Say no.
Say no. I love that. Learning to say no. Let me think about it. Let me get back to you. Whatever you need to do in your way to gently, maybe it's a maybe, I'll let you know. Or no, it's not. I just can't possibly fit that in. Maria?
And if there is no way out of saying no, or maybe, or later, just say, I get to. I get to do this. I get to do this.
Yes, I get to do this. Honoring yourself.
Yeah.
And honoring
That's
the
what I was going to
person.
say. Honor yourself.
Just in a
Honoring.
season of giving, Christmas coming, it's a privilege to be alive and to be able to give a little bit of ourselves.
And your present is presence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
don't
give-
rush around. Don't rush around. If you're with family over Christmas, don't rush around. Sit down and watch.
Yeah.
Take it in. Soak up the love. You know,
Keep it
be
simple.
really present, you know, over this time for your needs,
Beautiful.
for your nurture.
Dilyana? Any last wise words for women moving into this silly season?
Yeah, just honoring yourself, take care about yourself, take time for yourself, nurture yourself. And because you cannot give from empty cup, so you need to recharge ourselves to be able to give more.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Rollie?
I was gonna say, and just taking like, so kind of going back to what the ladies have been saying is like, just take time for yourself, like figure out where in that time frame of this busy month, of this busy holiday season, of like just where can you find carve out 20 minutes, 10 minutes of your time to be able to just stop and just be.
Yeah, beautiful. Come home. Just breathe. Love that. So anyone watching that's wanting to slow down and wanting to learn how to do this, because it's in the practice that it becomes permanent, is I'm hosting the 21 days of calm, connected, and intentional as we move towards this time of, this busy time. So if you'd love that extra support, I'd love to invite you to join us. No pressure, just an open space where you can just come home for 5 minutes a day, because it doesn't have to take a lot, 5 minutes. And this is just really important. So any of you want to reach out to any of the ladies here that are all doing this beautiful work in the world together, we're stronger. Support is our superpower, as you hear me say often. Reach out. I'm sure that there's going to be all the links in the comments. So let's just close with one big deep breath together. Closing down. And just maybe whisper to yourself, I'm choosing to return to myself. It's a choice. Thank you all for sharing your hearts and your souls and your experiences and your wisdom today. Some of you tonight, some of you today. And may this season meet you gently and kindly. Mwah. And Sacred You's coming back in, Sophia.
And yes, and thank you, Joe, for another wonderful wisdom circle, and for everyone who is coming to us from all different parts of the world. I just want to honor you. I know it's late for some people and everyone has to go, so thank you. Very quickly, Joe, you will be back for another wisdom circle in the new year in February. Truly looking forward to that. And for everyone who is watching, click on the links below and reach out to these amazing women and come and join us at sacredyou.love. We have so much on offer, especially coming up for the new year. Very quickly, Tywanah, tell me your tribe and what does it mean for you about coming back to yourself and the Metaphysical Mastery Tribe.
My tribe name is now Metaphysical Mastery, and it's because it encompasses all things psychic plus magic. So what does it mean? In returning to me, like, this is my jam. This is my home. This is my baby. It's what I live, eat, and thrive in. In the spirit, I like to have one foot in the spiritual realm because it's too chaotic out here in the 3D world.
Yes.
So that's what it's about. We're going to teach some magic. We're going to teach some psychic insight. You never know what kind of lesson you're going to walk into, but either way, we're going to have fun doing it.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much. And of course, the links are below. And Rollie, you are also the wonderful host of the Moon Medicine Circle Tribe. Tell us about that and how do you incorporate returning to yourself with moon medicine?
So moon medicine for me is about being able to bring in a whole bunch of metaphysical type things like Tywanah. So it is the cycles of the moon, also the astrological signs, but it's also crystals and energy healing and journaling and all the things that kind of bring us together into ourselves. And coming into the new year, there's going to be a little bit of shift around moon medicine. We're still trying to figure those things out. But yeah, that's going to be shifting a little bit. But looking forward to being able to but it's still bringing all things moon medicine into our practices. So thank you.
Thank you. And again, the links are below. And again, for everyone who's watching, come and join us. You can join us for free. Come and join the village where we go live in with all sorts of different events and programs, or come and join our community membership and get to participate in these amazing tribes. The we do have a manifesting tribe, the Metaphysical Mastery Tribe, the Moon Medicine Tribe. We will soon be starting rituals. Both these amazing women, Rollie and Tywanah, will be hosting rituals circles as part of their tribes as well. Come and join us. I'm going to stop now. Thank you again. Just want to honor everyone for being here. Dilyana, thank you for joining us for the first time. Please do come back, and we will see everyone for our next Wisdom Circle, which is coming up very, very soon. Thank you.